Hi, I'm Laura Spence, and don't miss the next edition of Science Rocks. We hang out in the canopy at Myakka River State Park and get face-to-face with Florida's prehistoric predator of the deep hole. You'll have to see it to believe it. Then we travel to Orlando for Florida's biggest educational technology conference and hear what national experts are saying about STEM. And finally, we visit one of our after-school STEM academies and see how our students are learning complex engineering principles. Science Rocks is next. Welcome to Science Rocks. I'm Laura Spence, and we're here at Myakka River State Park exploring the connection between STEM and science. We're walking on the suspension bridge, one of the coolest features here at the park. The walkway is suspended 25 feet above the ground and extends 100 feet through the hammock canopy. A tower soars 74 feet in the air to present a spectacular view of treetops, wetlands, and the prairie hammock interface. You can look down on eagles, hawks, vultures, and tops of live oaks and palm trees. This is a good connection for our STEM Academy students because it shows them what they're building in their classrooms, in the bridges, and how it connects to the suspension bridge that we're on right now. Later in the show, we'll visit Medellin Middle School's STEM Academy and see how our students are building their own bridges and performing load-bearing tests. But now, back to Myakka River State Park. Consisting of 37,000 acres, this is one of Florida's largest and oldest state parks, dating back to the 1930s. Spanning parts of both Sarasota and Manatee counties, the park is a haven for wildlife, featuring 200 bird species, including the rare roseate spoonbill and white pelicans, which attract worldwide visitors.
Well, I've got a pair of binoculars in here. I'm kind of a birder, so that's the primary thing I like is to, yes. Well, there's many birds right there. Will soon take out my binoculars. Are those, and there's, what's the white ones? Are those pelicans over there? That little gathering, or is that ibis?
Those are white pelicans.
Pelicans, okay.
What interests you about birding? So people that have never done birding before, how could they get involved, and why is it interesting to you?
Oh, it's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. There's something about Florida birds. They're so big that I can watch them, and it's not just identifying, which is pretty easy because they are so big, but I enjoy watching their behavior. So that was great.
But what sets this place apart from anywhere else in the country is the alligators. And we have the help of a professional for this adventure.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Ranger Chris Zizak, and I work here at Myakka River State Park in Sarasota, Florida. Yeah, this is the Myakka River, and this area that we're in right now is the lower Myakka Lake. It's about a 400-acre wide spot in the Myakka River, and we're at this really unique geological feature within the park, and it's called Deep Hole.
What makes the Deep Hole such a unique feature for Myakka Park?
It's just amazing. It's deep. It's a sinkhole, so it's about 131 feet deep. I believe it's about 300 feet wide or across, and it's just an amazing place. A lot of alligators congregate here, and different types of wildlife, birds. It's a great watering hole and refuge for just a large variety of different animals that live here in this place.
For a nature observer, we have some wetland areas here, we have the body of water. What's happening underneath us? What's formed under there?
That's a good question. These sinkholes were formed. There's a lot of factors that play into this, but it's kind of a combination of things, like with gravity and erosion. And with the erosion, you have, like, what underlies Florida is you have a material called limestone, and when acids and things there's like little bits of acids in the water that are picked up in the atmosphere. The rain picks these things up in the atmosphere, and also from like organic matter and stuff that's in the surrounding areas from plants and what have you.
And then it was time to venture a little closer to the alligators.
See all the heads in the water.
Chris, why is this such a unique place for alligators to congregate?
There are a lot of different reasons, a lot of factors that play into that. It's really good habitat for them. I mean, it kind of meets all their needs. They've got the water, and there's a lot of that. You know, even when this place gets a little bit dry or the water levels drop, you know, Deep Hole always has water in it, and there's a lot of fish and other life and different things here, you know, that can provide food and the sustenance that these animals need. And there's good areas for them to bask along the rim of the deep hole. So just to name a few, it just all in all, it makes a really good refuge for these alligators, and they seem to like it. I mean, I've seen hundreds of them at one time lined up around this sinkhole, so that's really cool.
I noticed that you have some artifacts with you. When student groups come out here, what are some of the things that you show them?
Yeah, these are just a few things I like to show show people when they come out, just to get them a little bit more familiar with the alligators. And these are the scutes. And if you look at those like areas on their backs that kind of protrude upwards, and this is what's underneath the skin. So it's the bones underneath the skin, and they're called scutes, and they're the bony plates. And if you could feel this thing, it's really, really hard, you know. So it's like alligator armor, and they're all different sizes. Some are even smaller than this one.
And you have one more neat artifact with you.
There's a tooth, a little alligator tooth. They can get a lot bigger than this, but they can have 80 teeth in their mouth, but they lose them frequently, and they can replace them. So this is kind of a small one, but they can get much bigger than this, and they're really designed to puncture.
Behind us, we see a lot of turkey vultures. We see a lot of vultures, and they're interacting with the alligators. Is there any balance that they have in the deep hole?
Yeah, there's just, you know, there's in this place, you know, it's like the definition of an ecosystem. It's like it's these places, this environment, and the things that live within the environment, and the relationships there with all these things. So the vultures hang out. They've always, you know, spent time here, and just to see them with the alligators, it's pretty normal. You know, it's usually every time I come down here, they're all hanging out. You know,
it's amazing the quantity of them too.
Yeah, and they just it's a good refuge for them as well. Yeah. And it meets their needs. And, you know, scientists do studies
And while the birds are nice, it's the alligators that attract the visitors. What's unique about this area that you decided to come out of all of Myakka Park?
The deep hole is unusual because it's a sinkhole, and the huge amount of alligators that normally congregate here, you know, that type of thing. But today is not such a good day because of the weather.
Today it's cloudy and a bit cool, so the alligators are all staying in the water because the water is warmer than the air.
What about the birds? Have you seen any unique birds that you found interesting?
The white pelicans are fantastic. You can see them on the lake, and they're pretty neat.
The Park Service only issues 30 passes a day to visit the deep hole, so you've got to get there early. But Chris shows us so much more to appreciate throughout the park.
See these branches, they kind of like they fall, and as things fall down, nothing's wasted, you know. It just goes back into the earth, it decomposes and adds nutrients and nourishment to the soil and regenerates the soil, and it's a cycle. See, just to go, everything in nature, everything out here in these places is unique. And you know, it's like this is a sable palm tree that's growing in this organic matter that's fallen and collected in here over time, and it's made a good habitat for them. It's taken root, and now this sable palm tree is growing here, and it kind of started off with this seed right here, you know. It's such a quiet place, and you can listen, like, see all these robins. Yeah. See them all? They've migrated down here, and they're getting some good food in them. And this just gives you a good kind of view of the lower lake. There's a yellow rat snake right there.
Ooh, that was a big one.
And that's what I want people to hear, those noises. You know, it's important that you know, they're really unique. It's unique, you know, and it's going to get them better connected, you know, and they're going to learn about what's around them, you know.
And also, I think
you love it. You can't help but love it. Look at it.
And we finish our adventure where we started, the Canopy Walkway, but this time at the summit, atop the 74-foot tower. Wow, what an amazing view. This is a different perspective here at the canopy level compared to what we saw with the alligators in the deep hole. And when we come back, we travel to the FETC conference in Orlando, where everyone's talking STEM. Science Rocks rolls on in a moment.